It's interesting how different of two different creatures we all are, because I think guys don't have this thing. It's like, do you want me to listen?
I know.
Do you want me to empathize? Because other guys go like, somebody broke up with me, like, bro, we're going out for beers.
Yeah.
We're going to go.
Uplifting.
Yeah. And you wake up with a hangover
Yeah.
and then great. Nothing fixed. Nothing's better. Right. With girls, it's a different story. And I learned that with you. It's like, as a fixer,
Yeah.
you tell me, here's a problem. Here's a client.
Yes.
Here's the issue, blah, 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 blah. And you go, okay, thinking head goes on. Okay, well, we can do, I want to take the pain away from you. So I go, how can we fix this? Because I'm trying to give you an idea. And it turns out that you're not looking for an idea. You're just trying to process this.
I need somebody to say, hey, honey, I'm so sorry. And give me a
Yeah.
hug and like, let me process it while having somebody like encouraging me.
Yeah. I think with me,
I just want to vent to somebody. And I think you don't have
Yeah.
that as much. You
Well-
really do need just to fix, even when it's your own problem.
Yes, I need a fix.
You'd rather have me be like, hey, honey, I have this idea. Or like, what if we do this? That's what you'd want to hear.
If I'm stressed about something and I was like, I don't have a hook to this video.
Yeah.
I don't have a title to
You
this
don't want
video.
somebody to be like, oh, I'm so sorry
I'm
you're
so
going
sorry.
through this.
I want somebody to be like, hey, what if we did this?
Yeah.
And I go, oh, I kind of see where you're going with.
Yeah.
Like, let's try that. Like,
Yeah.
let's see where that goes. Like, let's unpack that a little bit
Yeah.
more. But with you, you're like, let's just be here
Yes.
where it's an unconclusive event still. The event still hurts us.
I just need I just need you to like.
And especially that event was like a work-related
Yeah.
event and a problem that happened that you're like,
I do need to fix it. Yeah.
that's exactly the weirdest thing.
Eventually.
It's such a weird.
I need to process, man. I can't
So
fix
where-
it like immediately. I need to like kind of like stew in it, which is interesting because I don't do that with people. I don't stew in like my emotions when I'm mad at somebody very much. But for some reason, when it's like a problem with like a situation,
Yeah.
I feel like it takes me so long to process what I'm going to do.
Interesting.
I need to first just like feel the emotions.
Yeah. The negative
I need
ones,
somebody
yeah.
to tell me, hey, I'm so sorry. What can I give you a hug? I'm here. And then I can just vent to that person everything I'm
Interesting.
feeling. Then maybe sleep on it.
Then journal.
then journal.
Then
Then
go
wake
to brunch.
up and do some yoga. Then do brunch with a mimosa. And then maybe circle back and think about what I want to do.
This is like a week later. And the problem is still not solved.
Yeah, that's actually probably true.
No, it's not going anywhere. And the client's still going like, hey, where are we at
Yeah.
on this thing?
Could you imagine if you
You're
did that
"I'm
with your
still
videos?"
I'm still praying on this.
I've been trying to process this for the last 3 days. I just need a couple more days, couple more brunches.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go for a walk. I have a walk
I
scheduled.
have my list of things.
That's hilarious. We're
It
such.
is. I have
I've come to this conclusion that like the last couple of weeks that men and women are such just different creatures. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to think that we can hold each other to the same standard. Like, well, why don't you do this when I need that, and why don't you do this when I crave that? It's just they're two different creatures.
Yeah.
It goes as
Not
simple as like somebody gets turned on by their eyes, and the other person gets turned on by a feeling.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
an
Or
emotion, yeah.
somebody when they're going through a difficult time, they want a hug, and the other one needs a solution. Like they're such different avenues that they're like it's like talking to. A water creature versus a mountain creature. Like there's just two different
You
things.
can't even compare.
You
Like,
cannot
there's
compare.
No, nothing.
And it's so unfair to be like, well, why don't you do,
Yeah.
maybe, hey, Alex, why don't you take a, just a hug day? Well, like I don't care for a hug day. I need ideas. That's so interesting.
Humans are interesting.
But
so,
go ahead.
I was going to say, in this last 10 years, do you have like a memory or anything that stands out to you? One of your favorite moments?
Just in terms of like happy memories, or is it more of
I
long,
was
like
going
a
to say
difficult
happy.
memory? Happy memories. Happy memories. I'm sure there's one.
Happy
I'm
memories.
sure there's at least one.
Is there?
Um,
You have to say, well, they were all good, honey.
no, they were all good.
Just something that stands out.
You're saying in the last year or the last
10.
10? Okay.
Is that too
That's
broad?
That's too broad because there's a cycle.
Yeah.
I will say this is I remember distinctly, no matter how bad things got, I was always in my head about like, when I say how bad things got, it was more of like how many medical bills we couldn't cover because when we got married, we were a bunch of broke kids. I do remember in the midst of that, how much that all bothered me. And I wish, well, so I remember how much it bothered me, but I also realized in hindsight how happy we still were. Like it didn't bring in our marriage, but if I could if I could tell the 25-year-old me when we got married in the midst of all of that, I would say like one thing is like, no matter how bad and how scary this unpredictable thing is in terms of like, here's a bill that you didn't expect that you can't cover, that it will pass. Like this is the word, it will figure itself out somehow. That's the thing that I would tell myself. Because in the midst of it, I thought that was the absolute worst thing. But the reality is
nothing's ever gonna resolve. We're just gonna, if you just feel like you're in this like pit and you'll never come out of.
If you have a couple $100 in your savings and you have a couple $100 bill, medical bill, well, how do you look past it? You're like, does my survival on this earth continue because I can't, after I cover this bill?
And you throw kids in the mix and you're like, I need to provide for my family, my children.
But the reality is somehow it all figures itself out.
Yeah.
And there's a saying, somebody said this, they said, the worst thing that has ever happened to you is the worst thing that has ever happened to you today. Meaning like, that's just the standard that you have set. It's not the absolute worst, but it's up to today.
Yeah.
If you've been raised in nothing but blue skies and green grass, and then you have a couple of cloudy days and burnt grass, then you think that's the absolute worst. But that's just compared to where you kind of came from. It's not that I came from money or anything like that, but it's just in that scenario, I think as a guy, I'm thinking this is, if I can't provide for this bill, then there's an opportunity for an absolute collapse. But the reality is like everything figures itself out. And we went through those cycles time and time again.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's one hard lesson that I've learned from it. So your question was what's your favorite memory and all that stuff. But I think that was my strongest memory of the fact that no matter how difficult finances were in the very beginning, we still truly enjoyed each other's company.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Still do.
We still went for bike rides.
I'm trying to think. So we got married and we got pregnant like 4 months later. So year 2, we had a baby.
By the way, we got pregnant when we were married. So
don't
crunch the numbers like, oh, you're a couple of months short. We did it in cahoots.
In cahoots.
Hey, thanks for watching our Next Door Neighbors podcast.
And be sure to capture the full episode anywhere podcasts are streamed and including our YouTube channel, Next Door Neighbors.